Okay, moving on to 3.1. So 1a, a cone is like an ice cream cone. So it looks something like this. Well, an ice cream cone would look something like this. But the diagram that we have in the choices above is going to be A. So A would be the cone. And then B, we have a hexagon. A hexagon is any six-sided shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like to think that it looks like a sign. A lot of the time when you see the street sign, some of them has a hexagon shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Q has a six-sided. So the answer looks like it's going to be Q. And L as well, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, L only has 5 sides. So it will be Q. A quadrilateral is any four-sided shape. So a square is a quadrilateral, a rectangle is a quadrilateral because they have four sides. But it was really any kind of four-sided shape. It could be a parallelogram, it could be a trapezoid, right? So any four-sided shape would be a quadrilateral. And each side is represented by a straight line. Okay, so looks like C would be a quadrilateral. D, we have an obtuse triangle. Obtuse just means that the angle is bigger than 90 degrees. So an obtuse triangle can look something like this. You can see clearly that this angle is bigger than 90, right? So that's more than 90 degrees. So when I look at all my choices, X would be something that is represent an obtuse triangle. E, we have a right triangle. So a right triangle is really just a triangle with a 90-degree angle, because a 90-degree angle is also called a right angle in math. So that would be the 90-degree angle. So right triangle would be H. So H and P are both right triangle, but P is a little bit more specific. The two sides are equal. So this is why the answer would be H. Okay. And then the next one is F. F is a pentagon. Pentagon are five-sided. So any five-sided shape would be a pentagon. So these pentagon are also very often used for the street sign, like a stop sign. I think a stop sign has a pentagonal shape or hexagonal shape. 2, 3, 4. So L would be a five-sided shape. It will be a pentagon. And then G, we have an octagon. Octagon are eight-sided. So any kind of eight-sided shape would be an octagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, F is 8-sided. And then H, we have a hemisphere. So a hemisphere is just half of a sphere. A sphere is like a ball, like a basketball. It's in the shape of a sphere. Or the Earth is in the shape of a sphere. Okay, so half of the entire circle or a three-dimensional ball would be a hemisphere. So it will be S. And then we have parallelogram. In order to be a parallelogram, we need two pairs of parallel side. So those two lines are parallel to each other. And these two lines are also parallels to each other. So it will be W. W is a parallelogram. And then J, we have a trapezoid. Trapezoid has one pair of parallel lines. So that's the only condition for a trapezoid. So as long as these two lines are parallel, the rest doesn't really matter. So J would be a trapezoid. And then K, we have a scalene triangle. So in a scalene triangle, all three sides has different side length. So these three sides are not the same. So N would be a scalene triangle. Pentagonal prism. So in order to be a prism, the top and the bottom area must be the same. That's the condition in order to be a prism. And pentagonal is, so all the prism are named after the base. So it has a pentagon base. So remember, pentagon are 5-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's gonna look something like that. Okay. So this would be the base. So M would be a pentagonal prism. The base and the top area are the same, and the base is a pentagon with 5 sides. Moving on to M, we have a rhombus. Rhombus is 4-sided, and all the side length must be equal. So we can say that a square is a rhombus. So a rhombus looks something like this. So in order to be a rhombus, we need to have all 4 sides are equal, and we need to have 2 sets of parallel lines. So these are parallel, and in addition to that, they are all equal. So it looks like it's L. L is the rhombus. Or is that I? Yeah, that's I, sorry. I. And then N square, so that should be the easier one. We probably all know this already. So square has 4 equal sides and it has 4 90-degree angle at the vertices. The vertices are these corners. That's a square. So all these are equal. So U will be a square. And then O, triangular pyramid. So just like the Egyptian pyramid, pyramid has a very sharp corner at the top. And then it's always named after the base. So the base will just be a triangle. And just make sure the top forms a sharp corner. Like this point here at the top. Triangular pyramid. So B would be a triangular pyramid. And then P, we have an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle means 2 of the sides are the same. So these 2 sides are equal. Okay, so P is an isosceles triangle, but it's an isosceles right triangle. I'm trying to see if there is just an isosceles triangle here. So D will be an isosceles triangle. And then Q. So cube, like the ice cube, just a 3-dimensional square base. Well, actually each faces is going to be a square. So that's a cube. R would be a cube. And then R, equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangle means all the side lengths are the same in this special triangle. So we just have a triangle with all 3 sides equal. I also want to point out to you that if all the sides are equal, then the angle must also be equal, because the sum of all the interior angles in a triangle must add to 180, so each angle must be 60 each in order to make all of them equal. So T will be an equilateral triangle. And then S, we have a kite. In order to be a kite, we just need 2 pair of equal side length. So these 2 are equal. And those 2 are also equal. Right? It can look like that. It can also look like that. These 2 side lengths are equal. And those 2 side lengths are equal. So they actually do look like an actual kite if you fly on. So K will be kite. And then T, rectangle. You probably know rectangle already. So just 2 sets of parallel sides. And then each angle are 90 degrees. Yeah, that's a rectangle. So these 2 must be equal, these 2 must be equal. E is a rectangle. And then U, isosceles right triangle. Remember we said isosceles means 2 of the side lengths are equal. So isosceles, these 2 are equal. I want this to be a right triangle, so that's a 90-degree angle. So it looks something like that. P would be the answer of an isosceles triangle. V is cylinder. So it's just a circular prism. This is a cylinder. So this would be O, and then W is a sphere. So it's like a basketball or a volleyball sphere, something like that. So it will be G. And then finally, we have a right triangular prism. So the base is a right triangle. And then just make sure that the base and the top are equal. Okay, so that will be the base. This is a 90-degree angle. Right triangular prism will be V. V is a right triangular prism. Okay, that's it for question 1. I will see you in question 2.